So this section is on circles, and there are a few things that we'll be doing with circles. So we're going to be able to write an equation of a circle in standard form. The definition of a circle is a set of all points in a plane that are equidistant from a fixed point called the center. The fixed distance from any point on the circle to the center is called the radius. So you've definitely seen circles before. We're just now going to have them on the rectangular coordinate plane. The standard form of the equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. The center will be hk and the radius is r, where the radius, of course, has to be greater than 0. So here's an example of a graph with a center of -3, 2 and a radius of 4. You can see that the equation would become x plus 3 squared because the sign here changes when we put it in the form of the circle. The 2 would become y minus 2 squared, and if the radius is 4, then it is equal to 16 because in the formula, whatever the radius is, you square it, and so 4 squared becomes 16. Then they even show you how to graph this. In order to graph it, we're going to plot the center, which is -3, 2, and you'll notice they do an open circle here, and then they use the radius to count and find all the other points. So they go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, they go up 4, they go to the left 4, they go down 4, and then they have this beautiful circle over here. So this is something we'll be doing in this section. All right, so let's get into some problems that we'll do together. The first is going to be writing the equation and also graphing. The center of the circle given is 0, -3 with a radius of 2. First, we're going to write the equation. That's an objective in itself. So the equation in standard form would be, since I have 0 here, it would just be x squared. Since I have a -3 for the y coordinate, it would be y plus 3, the quantity squared, is equal to 4 because the radius is 2 and I have to do 2 squared to get that part of my equation. Notice, since the x coordinate was 0, I'm not going to put x plus 0 squared, so we just put x squared. So anytime you see a 0, just know there's going to be no parentheses for that part. And if it was 0, 0, it would be x squared plus y squared. Okay, now we're going to graph this. So we're going to go to 0, -3 and put our ordered pair. They want you to put it as an open circle because it's the center. It's not actually part of the circle. It's just the inside of the circle. So we're going to do an open circle. And then our radius is 2. Since our radius is 2, I'm going to go 2 to the right and put an ordered pair. I'll go up 2 from the center and put an ordered pair. I'll go to the left 2 and I'll go down 2, and then I'll connect my ordered pairs to create a circle. I want to give you a few minutes to please try number 2 on your own. Try to write the equation and try to graph it. Let's talk about the equation first. What do you think for the equation? I know I'm going to have squared. Here's the skeleton of it, right? Okay, what's going to go here? What do you think? Good, x minus 4, because we changed the sign, right? And then how about for the y? Good. So it's a +3 in the equation, it's going to be negative. The sign changes by definition. The radius is 3, so what does that mean my number is going to be here? Good, I always square it. Perfect. Okay, so that's my general equation of in standard form of the circle. Now I'm going to go to 4, 3 and put an open circle on my graph. That's the center. And then since my radius is 3, I'm going to go to the right 3 of my center and put an ordered pair. I'm going to go up 3. I'll go to the left 3 and I'll go down 3. And then I'm just going to connect my ordered pairs. There's my circle. So the only other thing I'm going to say about this on this slide, and then we'll move into some of your homework problems, is we'll do one more where I want you to find the center. Oops. If we have x squared plus y squared equals 49. Okay, so find the center and radius of x squared plus y squared equals 49. I'll give you a moment to think about it. All right, what do you think the center would be?
7.
That's the radius. Okay, so the radius is definitely 7 because the square root of 49 is 7. How about the center? Remember, I find the center by looking here and here, right? Here and here. So if it's x squared plus y squared, what does that imply about my center? It's at 0, 0, because it's not in parentheses at all, right? Now in the example over here, you know, we just have 5 and negative 3. But sometimes the center will actually be at the origin. And so they're not going to write x plus 0 squared. It's just going to be x squared plus y squared. Our homework problem. So please turn the page. We're not going to do all of these together, but we are going to do some of them together that are from your homework. And remember, all of your homework is in ALEKS, and it's traditional assignments now. Homework is always due Sunday night, but if you need an extension, you can have one because we have late submission without any points off. I just don't want you to get behind, so you know, keep that in mind. Okay, question 1. Is the point negative 3, 4 on the circle defined by this equation? Okay, so what is that asking? It's asking, is this point a part of this circle? There's 2 ways to do this. I could pass out graph paper, and you could graph this by hand, but I don't think they want you to do that because the radius is 9, and so you'd have a pretty giant circle on your paper. Instead, what they're asking you to do is plug in your ordered pair to see if it's true. Because if it's actually on the circle and you plug it in, it's going to make a true statement. Okay, so let me explain. I'll take negative 3 and I'll plug it in for x into my equation right there. So I'll have negative 3 plus 3 squared. I'll plug in y, which is 4. And I need to see, does it indeed equal 81? Well, when I plug this in to a calculator or in my head, I know that negative 3 plus 3 is 0. And I know 0 squared is 0. And then 4 minus 4 is 0. And 0 squared is 0. 0 plus 0 does not equal 81. So this is definitely a no. I want to give you a moment to try number 2. Try to do the same thing on number 2. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay, good, yes. If I plug in x and y, this is what I get. So I'm just testing, does it actually equal 49? Does this part actually equal 49? Whether I use a calculator or I do it by hand, this becomes 0 squared. This becomes 7 squared. 0 plus 7 squared is 49. So this would be yes. All right, so that ordered pair is on the circle. That means if I graphed it and I graphed the ordered pair, this is what my circle would look like. And the ordered pair, probably over here somewhere, would actually lie on my circle. It's hard for us to graph that by hand anyways because we can't draw perfect circles. So it would be interesting to even try it with graph paper, which is why I know they want you to do it algebraically. All right, let's take a moment to try 3 kind of quickly, and then we'll move into 4 because they're going to have you write your radius a certain way sometimes, and I want to make sure we talk about that. So please try number 3. All right, so the center is going to be, change the sign. Did you get negative 6 comma negative 3? Good. Okay, the radius would be what? Good, perfect. Okay, you always just take the square root of that number to get the radius. So the square root of 64 is 8. All right, let's try number 4, and then we can talk a little bit about number 5. Okay, so number 4 says, Actually, no, number 4 is too easy. Sorry, I meant number 5. So 4 is just like 3, right? 4 is too easy. 5, we do have some decimals. So I'll give you a moment to try 5. And then we're definitely going to do 6. Okay, the center would be from the x coordinate. It would be positive 0.3. How about from the y coordinate? Good, perfect. Okay, because there's nothing in parentheses. You can think of it, this could also be written like this. But they're never going to write it like that. Okay, so if it doesn't have anything in parentheses, that simply means it's not going to get to go left or right or up or down. It's just going to be in the center. And in this point, at this part, it's just the y coordinate. When I take the square root of 7.29, which is a decimal, they should tell you how far to round, but I can tell by their answer that they wrote, which is why I printed it for you. It is 2.7. And so on that problem, you might just want to go 1 decimal place. It should accept it. All right. Any questions on 5? We'll do one more, and then I'll actually go into the homework to show you what it looks like to graph these. So please try number 6. I'll give you a moment to try number. All right. So what is the center? Yes, 0, comma. Yes, good. If it has x squared plus y squared, that just means the circle happens to, the center happens to be right at the origin. And then my radius is the square root of 28, but notice it says write your answers in simplified exact form. That means I'm going to have to factor it, just like we did on the warm-up today on number 3 when we had to keep going. Okay, so I'm going to keep going with 28, and I'll be able to take out a 2. So my final answer would be 2 square root of 7. All right, and so you have a few problems that are like that. I think that's enough though for this. I don't want to do all your homework problems together because I want you to do your homework, but I do want to show you how to graph on ALEKS. And I'm going to have to do that on a different screen. So if you're watching the video, I'm sorry, but you can look at the example in ALEKS, you'll be fine.